This TikTok mom influencer just got outed for lying about having stage 3 cancer for attention, even being convicted of fraud after allegedly starting her own GoFundMe for it.
I said I had an illness, which was cancer.
At this point, I feel like influencer stories are just getting wilder and wilder for every day that goes by. Because at this point, everyone knows when you have a large online following, people unfortunately will be watching your every move. But what happens when you gain a huge following built on being a wholesome mom with twins, and then it comes out years later that you actually lied about having cancer? Yeah, I don't know. That's rough. So let's find out. Because unfortunately for Brittany Miller, a 29-year-old mom TikToker from the UK, this is her current reality. And it's safe to say her fans were shocked when Brittany recently posted a nearly 6-minute-long apology where she admits to the accusations that she lied about having cancer back in 2017. Because this was news to basically all of her followers. And I'm saying like real news because this happened like, what, 2 weeks ago? Even though the actual situation of her faking cancer was all the way back in 2017. But this video really blew up, like way over 10 million views already. And again, the crazy part is all of this happened back in 2017. And there's been tons of speculation online to what really happened since. Brittany's old best friend forever had even come out with receipts of her own just a few years ago in an attempt to prove her side of the story. But nothing concrete has ever came out until November 4th, 2025. Yeah, like 2 weeks ago. The Sun broke the news that police had confirmed that Brittany was indeed convicted of her crime, fraud by false representation. And in July of 2020, she was given a conditional discharge for 12 months and was forced to pay compensation and costs to the Crown Prosecution Service. Oh, what is that, bay leaf? I don't have a bay leaf for dinner. That must have been cilantro and the guac. And the confirmation resulting public pressure forced Brittany to finally address the rumors that have been following her on social media for years.
I said something to someone within my immediate circle in confidence. One stupid sentence that I deeply regret. I said I had an illness, which was cancer. I didn't do this for malicious intent or to scam people. I did this out of desperation. I did it to keep the people close to me.
Yeah, this situation is just so wild. So, who is Brittany Miller? Well, like I said, she is a momfluencer from the UK, so I'm not necessarily the target demographic here, and I haven't seen any of her posts until this happened right now. So, it's the tear-filled apology that we're talking about today. And that being said, she does have 3.5 million followers on TikTok, so clearly her content does resonate with a lot of people. And Brittany's videos mainly consist of her sharing recipes, going on grocery runs, and plating absurdly large meals for her and her family. And she also shares a lot of her twin sons, which also is a controversial topic by itself.
So the twins having that. Boys, is it nice? Bit of bread and butter with your chips. Oh. And that's my dinner.
Because, you know, content creators using their kids as the main focus of their videos and having them grow up performing on camera is a story that we've seen time and time again. And it's not like that hasn't ended badly before. Let's be real. We're kind of seeing time and time again that vlog family kids are growing up and we're kind of realizing that they're just unregulated child actors. And that's a slippery slope. In regards to the mom, people do love her and her very wholesome, very beige family content. Brittany and her partner Ash routinely show off their matching outfits and present as this like perfect, happy family. And I'm definitely not saying they're not, but it definitely came as a huge shock to most reviewers to hear Brittany get on her TikTok account and admit to terrible lies seemingly out of nowhere. But it was actually due to the fact that the Sun had published their article stating that the police had confirmed them that Brittany had been convicted of her crime, fraud by false representation, and given a conditional discharge for 12 months and was forced to pay compensation and costs to the Crown Prosecution Service. And again, this happened back in 2017. So when Brittany states that she was struggling mentally and chose to lie to keep people in her life close to her as opposed to doing it online for clout and money.
So I never wanted to talk about this time in my life because it was a very difficult time for me. So back in 2017, I had extremely bad mental health. I was depressed, I was lost, I was confused. I lost my partner, I lost my job. I said something to someone within my immediate circle in confidence. One stupid sentence that I deeply regret. I said I had an illness, which was cancer. I didn't do this for malicious intent or to scam people. I did this out of desperation. I did it to keep the people close to me, to keep the people in my life close to me.
And I mean, honestly, it might have never gone further than that, but according to the article in 2020, when Britney had grown a decent-sized following on her social media, she did a collab post with a breast cancer charity. And this is when her ex-BFF couldn't hold it anymore and decided to come forward with the story. And essentially, she exposed Britney for lying about her health and accused her of starting her own cancer fundraiser and profiting off of it. And she also provided screenshots of text exchanges where Britney is basically guilt-tripping her friend for not going clubbing with her in between chemo sessions.
Her best friend at the time, she was awful to her. Like, she was awful to this girl. And she kind of blackmail her into doing things with her, like, oh, well, it's, you know, my last day before I start my next round of chemotherapy and you won't even come out with me. And basically trying to guilt trip this girl into going on nights out and going on piss-ups with her because of her chemotherapy.
And there's also the screenshots of someone who is alleged to be Britney sending out emails soliciting donations for her fundraisers that she set up. But again, there was no concrete evidence at the time, and Britney's followers continued to support her blindly. Now, in Britney's apology video, she claims that she wasn't the one who set up the GoFundMe and that she knew about it but had it shut down after people started donating. And overall, she's still adamant that she made no money from it.
People that I told then told a couple of others, and there was a fundraising page made on behalf of me, which I knew about. And as soon as I saw there was donations, there was 2 donations, I had the page immediately shut down and I didn't take a penny from it.
But now, I guess, you know, the police have confirmed that she was charged with fraud by false representation. So it's assumed that this was true after all, despite what Britney's saying. She also does admit to lying about having stage 3 cancer, but also said that she only told one person, but then that snowballed out of control. And the only reason she told that one person was allegedly to keep them in her life. And Britney is essentially blaming her poor mental health, and to be fair to her, does take accountability and own up to it. As far as I know, she wasn't famous in 2017 and wasn't posting about this. But if she was still sending the GoFundMe around to friends, that's pretty shady. Plus, then you have the screenshots of her guilt tripping her friend, so you still kind of have to consider how insane that is. It wasn't just like one simple lie. But this is crazy because this happened before she was relevant on social media at all. But it's safe to say that Britney didn't clear everything up to her fans, because she had to come back days later with a follow-up video explaining everything again to clear up confusion. She tries to say that she wasn't using her mental health as an excuse and that she did not set up the GoFundMe.
Still feel like there's unanswered questions and a few things that I want to clear up and get off my chest. So the first one being is the fact that it's still being portrayed as if I said what I said to scam and take money from people. This is not the case. There was no malicious intent into why I said what I said. I said it out of pure desperation to keep the people in my life close to me. Yes, there was a fundraising page made on behalf of me, which I did know about, and I am guilty of that because I enabled it. So I am guilty, and I am so sorry for that. As soon as there was donations made, I had the page immediately shut down because I didn't say what I said for that. And the third thing being is the fact that people are saying I'm using mental health as an excuse. Mental health is not my excuse, but it's my reason. No one in their right frame of mind would come out and say that unless they had malicious intent. I said it because I wanted people around me. No one mentally well would do that. 9 years ago, there wasn't a huge mental health awareness like there is today, and maybe I wouldn't have done what I did if there was.
And here her tone in this video is very intense. It's different from the last one. It's a far cry, pun intended, from the tears just days before. But then she makes things so much worse by saying that, hey, maybe she wouldn't have lied if people were open with mental health online like she is. So is she trying to paint herself as the hero here? But this is like one of those ones where I kind of want to have sympathy for her because, hey, this happened all the way back in 2017. She wasn't famous then. If she came back and had accountability for it and was like, yeah, no, I seriously effed up and didn't do this, it would be easier to, you know, sympathize a little bit for her because obviously people make mistakes, some a lot bigger than others. But, you know, the whole goal here is to learn from your mistakes and move on and be a decent human being in society and potentially a productive member in society. So like, again, you don't want to demonize people for their mistakes forever. And this happened back in 2017. So this is 8 years ago, but her coming back and making a second response like this, it's just not a good look. And it's not like she was really scamming her fans here because she didn't really have an audience back then. At least that's my understanding of the situation. My understanding is this was just kind of like a local news story. And I guess like Facebook groups or so on started donating to this alleged GoFundMe. But unfortunately for Britney, this isn't the first time she's had to deal with the internet's, backlash, to put it lightly, because she's already had viewers called CPS on her back in July, and she came online to address the viewers again, getting teary-eyed.
Someone made an anonymous, obviously anonymous because you're obviously, report to social services about me and how I am as a mum, accusing me of child abuse, accusing me of lots of things actually, like a long list. So I got questioned about everything. But bringing my children into it is ludicrous. Like, why would you want to do that to them? Like, innocent babies, why would you want to do that to them? Like, do what you want to me, whatever. But to them, innocent children who are clearly very happy and healthy babies, that's crazy. That's actually crazy. Like, you're an actual weirdo. Like, you're an actual loser.
And I understand why she's distraught. Of course, no one wants CPS called on them. But she essentially goes on to call her audience, or the few members who called CPS on her, weirdos for involving her children. And I absolutely do not condone any of that kind of behavior. Swatting, CPS, all of that, unacceptable. But unfortunately, this is one of the risks that can happen when your kids is a main focal point of your content. But Brittany continued posting on TikTok like nothing's ever happened. And it doesn't even seem like she's lost too many followers either. So this was just, I guess, like a content break. You went from mukbangs to whoops, I'm sorry for faking cancer, to back to mukbangs again, and regular programming will continue. That's what it seems like, at least. So definitely an interesting story that happened. It happened, what, 7, 8 years ago? At this point, 8 years ago. 2017 is 8 years ago. I feel old. I feel ancient. How is that? Oh man. I'm like thinking back and I'm like, the stories I was covering back in 2017 were still pretty insane. So it's not like things have gotten too much worse, because they were insane back then. No, actually, no, they've probably gotten worse. But I was still covering insane stuff back in 2017. Either way, I feel old now. She responded poorly to this, but she should also not be demonized for this forever. I don't see like any real proof of her like scam. Like, she didn't scam like hundreds of thousands. I don't even think she scammed over $1,000. But she claimed she didn't profit from it, but the courts, you know, gave her some. I don't know. Dude, it's so many back and forths. I'm very torn on this. Obviously, you should never fake cancer. I despise anyone who would do that. I've lost one of my best friends to cancer growing up. I've lost my grandmother to cancer. Like, cancer. Everyone hates cancer. And everyone thinks that anyone who fakes cancer is a piece of shit. But still, 8 years ago, you should learn from it by now. Hopefully. And obviously, I don't see her repeating that anytime soon. I don't know. This is just such a one. I'm not a fan of her. Yeah, no, it just doesn't sit right with me. Yeah, no, I don't like this. But the thing is, especially with the For You page algorithm content, this will kind of just be forgotten. She'll just come up on people's feeds and no one will remember that. And she'll just continue on with her career. And that's most likely what's going to happen. Hopefully she learned from this, at least, you know, faking cancer and her terrible response, and moves on without repeating that. But yeah, sorry this video was more ranty than my usual programming, but I'll see you guys in the next video. Subscribe if you're new, drop a like of this video if you enjoyed this recap, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.